Hello young readers of grade 8. This is Asma Said and welcome to a new vocabulary lesson. Today inshallah we're going to learn a new skill to figure out the meaning of the word with the context clue. For today inshallah we will study the root word scrib and script, which mean write. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Your objectives: you need to learn to use the root scrib and script to figure out the meaning of the words that are constructed from that root. Alright, this root is Latin, okay? It's one of the very famous Latin roots that we use them all the time. Alright, we have 10 words for today. I need you to study them carefully. Let's move to the first word. Here I have a lady. She is on the phone or she listens to something. While listening, she types what she listens. Okay, so all in all, she transcribe. It means that she transfer what she hears to a written copy. Alright, now let's learn more about it from that context. And we could make copies of these digital files on our computers and transcribe anywhere, anytime we want it. Alright, in this context, he's going to transfer or change digital files into written copies. Okay, again, transcribe means, that's a verb, it means to make a written copy, especially a typewritten copy, okay, of dictated material. When I ask you to write after me, notes taken during a lecture or other spoken material like songs, movies, TV show, etc. Okay, the word transcribe here reminds me of one of the famous verbs that we usually use to show, to describe. Yes, alright. So what is the noun of the word describe? Would you remind me? It's a description. So transcribe here will be transcription. Okay, transcribe, transcription. Alright, I need you to remember these derivatives. Okay, they are important. Let's move to word number 2. Okay, here in this picture I can see letter A with letter B that's above it and number 1 which below it. Okay, what do we call subscript? Sub means under, script means under or below, script means right. So written below or under, that's a noun, not a verb. Alright, let's learn more about it from this context. That's why we say that number 1 is the subscript, meaning written below, and letter B is the superscript, meaning written above. Oh, so today we have here 2 words, sub and super, right? Yes. Let's focus on sub here. Sub here, that's a small letter or number written below and usually to the right of any other letter or numbers. We usually use it in science or math, like when you say H2O. Okay, that's the chemical composition of water. Here, subscript, superscript. Here I have an old book, and I guess it's written by hand, right? Okay, it's an old book. It's called scripture. Scripture, that's a noun again. Tom quoted a phrase from that scripture to honor his self-sacrifice. Okay, now he's praising himself. Wow, I'm an amazing person. I have done a lot of sacrifices. So scripture here means what? It's a sacred writings or books. Sacred writings, like what? Like words from religion, like the holy book, like a holy book, like the Bible or the Quran. Let's move to the next word. I have a man that writes, so he's a Writer. What do we call a writer? Scribe. The writer is a scribe. If you were particularly interested in one topic, you would order your scribe to write down only the relevant items. So, what does scribe do? Writes down. So, what's the meaning of scribe? He is a person who copies manuscripts and documents. Manuscripts, I guess that's one of the root words, okay? Can you tell me what's the meaning of manuscripts? Okay, script here, that's written, something that's written. Manual. Yes, like a manual. So, something that's written by hand. Thank you so much. Okay, this word says no smoking, right? That's a sign that says no smoking. Okay, so do I have to stop or quit or not to smoke? That's what we call proscribe. Proscribe here, that's a verb. Smoking in public places is proscribed by the law. It means it's forbidden. Don't do it. It's to forbid or prohibit, to strongly criticize or condemn an action. It means that to say this is wrong, this is bad. Okay? Stop, quit doing it. Again, you can tell me what is the noun of the word proscribe? Proscription. The next word, I can see a physician. He's a doctor. Okay? He's telling his patient how to take the medicine and to follow certain steps. Okay? After I go to the doctor, I usually get what? Do you remember? Yes, prescription. In this case, what does the doctor prescribe? That's the action. For people with SAD, sad, or a bad case of the winter blues, doctors might prescribe a certain amount of light exposure. Okay, it means that people, when winter comes, they need to expose themselves to sunlight. Okay, so prescribe means to give or recommend a medical treatment or remedy. Okay, prescribe, the noun of it, prescription. I see nothing. Where is the picture? Come on, anything? Nothing? No labels? Nothing at all? That's what we call nondescript. If I notice the word script means written. None means no written. None written. D means it lacks. There is shortage. It's short in something. It means that there is nothing written on it. Okay? It's unlabeled. Like when you have a white shirt. I met Anna at a nondescript hotel in downtown Toronto. Right? Nondescript, it means that that's not a famous hotel without a sign. It means lacking distinctive, something that I can tell that you're different, or individual features. Okay? Now, what other words like I have? It's ordinary, it's dull, it has no features. Okay? I cannot remember its name. It's not signed, it's not labeled. This is a stone, maybe from inside a temple. Egyptian. Is it Egyptian? Yes, I guess that's from Egyptian one, from the pharaohs. Yes. Okay. And how did they write on stone? That's what we call inscribe. You have the word in. It refers to something that goes deep. Okay, like holding a sharp thing to engrave something, like a pumpkin. They must inscribe on a white parchment or on a stone. Okay, so like all the Egyptians, they wrote on parchment or on stone. It means write, carve, engrave words on surface to enter into formal record. Okay, like writing on inside the temple's walls. Of course, the noun, inscription. Now I can see a circle. Inside the circle there is a shape, and beside the shape there is another circle. circle, circle, circle. This word is circumscribe, circumscribe. Okay, I guess that's from the word circle. It means that to draw lines around. The first step to be taken is to circumscribe their limits. Okay, it means that to set boundaries, to control. Here, to enclose in a circle, to put things in a circle. Like when you have a toddler that moves around, you need to enclose him inside circle. Draw a line around, okay, or to limit the power of something, okay, to limit. Now I can see that people, they are pointing at a person, okay, they are pointing to him, so they say that he did it. Who broke the vase, kids? Not me, he did it. It means ascribe. Ascribe. Ascribe, here in this context, they ascribed courage to me for something I did out of sheer panic. It means that, dear, have you ever noticed, wow, amazing, how did you do this? Okay, I was panicking, I started to scream, I didn't know what to do. Then I pushed the thief into the street. I was panicking. Okay, so ascribe means to identify, to say he did it, as causing the reason for something, or to attribute. Ascribe, attribute. Ascribe, attribute, to say that someone did something. Okay, that's the end of the 10 words. I need you to remind you with their definitions. Here are the 10 words. Scribe, writer. Ascribe, attribute. Inscribe, engrave. Prescribe, recommend. Proscribe, forbid. Circumscribe, limit. Transcribe, prepare a written copy. Nondescript, without features. Subscript, written below. Scripture, sacred books or sacred writing, like the word picture. Here, I need you to write the correct word for the given definition. Pause the video, take a mental shot, or write them down in your notebook, and prepare yourself. Number 1. To prohibit. To prohibit means what? Proscribe. Excellent. Great job. Let's move to number 2. A symbol written below and to the right of another. A symbol. Symbol may be a letter, maybe a number. Mom, do you remember? H2O. So it's what? Yes, subscript. Excellent. Below means under, so that's sub. To enclose, to limit. Hold your hands like you're drawing a circle. Circle. Yes. Teachers. Circumscribe. Excellent job. Let's move to the next one. To engrave on a surface. Engrave, like it's Halloween. Let's engrave our pumpkins. So it's what? Inscribe. So engrave means inscribe. Sacred writings. Sacred writings. I remember that it looks like it sounds like picture. So scripture. Yay me! Did you notice what I did? I tried to compare words together. If I can't remember, I will remember something I already know. To attribute to, attribute to, ascribe to, attribute to, ascribe to. It means that he did it. He is the reason for this. He is the cause. Lacking distinctive features. No features. Okay? No, none. nondescript. No, none. To make a written copy of something. Written copy, to make, to change, transcribe. To order or recommend, like that's the doctor's order. It's to prescribe. A writer, very easy. Scribe. Okay, those are our 10 words. Before I move to the questions, I need to read the text and answer the questions together. For me, I prefer to learn new words in context. Okay, now this is a reading comprehension that include all the 10 words that we have discussed. Alright, and he's going to ask me again to define these words. Alright, it wasn't always standard. How are you? I am fine. Without space, it's hard to read, right? This is how are you? I'm fine might have looked 1,200 years ago. At one time or another, most of us have become frustrated trying to learn the highly prescribed punctuation system that directs our use of marks such as periods, commas, and semicolons. But long ago, people did not have fixed rules to circumscribe their writing. Alright, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to continue reading the whole text or move to the questions? In that type of text, I prefer to move to the question, okay? Because it's meant to teach me words, not context. For question 1, many become frustrated trying to learn the highly, he said, that prescribed punctuation system. The word prescribed means what? Regulated, prohibited, generic, or complicated. Alright, we have studied prescribed, that means recommendation, regulation, okay? So, it's what? Rules. So we're talking about regulated, okay? So number 1, A. Let's check number 2. But long ago, people did not have fixed rules to circumscribe their writing. The word circumscribe here means what? Enhance means to enrich, limit, illustrate, or forbid. Circumscribe, it means to draw a circle around something. It means to control it, to limit it. So B here is the correct answer. I would go for B. Now, let's move back to the text. Ancient Greeks had little punctuation and didn't separate written words. However, sometimes the Greeks placed the first letter of a new paragraph in the margin. This paragraph literally writing beside. System is the ancestors of one we use today. The ancient Romans also ran words together and almost completely lacked a system of punctuation. Occasionally, they separated words on stone inscriptions by using dots. Stone here, an inscription. The first formal punctuation system developed in Egypt is ascribed to. Ascribed to. Who did it? Who created? Attribute to Aristophanes, the head of the library in Alexandria. In his system, a centered dot acted as a comma, a low dot as a colon, and a high dot indicated a very long pause. Unfortunately, his system was not widely used. I need to answer the first two, inscriptions and ascribe. Occasionally, they separated words on stone inscriptions by using dots. Inscriptions means what? Walls, scribes, manuscripts, or curved writings. Okay, on stone, we're talking about something that is curved on stone, so it is D. Number 4. The first formal punctuation system developed in Egypt is Aristophanes. Okay, we said that it's ascribed to. It means written by, attributed to, or not distinct from, or reported by. It means that I'm asking who is the cause, who created it. So of course, ascribed means attributed to. That's B. So far so good. Let's get back to the text. 5. Like their Greek and Roman ancestors, the scribes of the early Middle Ages wrote words without separation. Although difficult to read, their handwritten manuscripts of the scriptures were beautiful. After writing in Latin, the scribes again carefully noted accent using subscripts and superscripts. Punctuation, though, was not consistent. Okay, so I'm talking about scribes here means writer. Scriptures, we're referring to sacred writings. Subscripts, it means a word or a number or a letter that's written below. In 781, the great Frankish emperor Charlemagne was the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, okay, became tired of difficult to read text. He summoned an English clergyman, Alcuin, who developed a system that all monks were required to study. It was the first system to include lowercase letters, spaces between words, and the use of capitals to begin sentences. Okay, I need to check these three words: scribes, scripture, and subscript. Number 5. The scribes of early Middle Ages wrote words without separation. Scribes means merchants, means traders, religious leaders, like the Pope or something, text writers, or noblemen. Of course, we have learned that scribes means writers. Okay, so number 5C. Let's check 6. Their handwritten manuscripts of scriptures were beautiful. We're talking about scriptures, okay, like sacred writing. Oh yes, here's the exact word. Number 7. On writing in Latin, the scribes carefully noted accent marks using subscripts and superscripts. Sub means under, so circles, scientific notation, feather quills, or marks to the lower right. Of course, so we're talking about lower written right. Okay, so number 7, D. So far so good. Let's get back to the text and the final 3 words. But did not eliminate means to stop variation in spelling and punctuation usage. With the invention of printing press in the 1400s, people finally became used to seeing words in a more standardized form. However, even then, alternate or phonetic spelling were not as proscribed as they are today. For example, during his lifetime, William Shakespeare's name was spelled numerous different ways, including Shakespeare, and Shakespeare. Gradually, the influence of dictionaries, mass literacy, and education led to a standardization of spelling. So, proscribed, we said, like no smoking, means to set some certain rules. By the 1600s, people began to incorporate additional punctuation marks into the writing system. Transcriptions of speech were marked by quotation marks. Transcription of speech, something we say and we write it down. I need to check these two words. Number 8. However often then, alternate or phonetic spelling were not as proscribed as they are today. It means engraved, it means inscribed. No. That's not our choices. Written? No. Common? No. Forbidden, because here proscribe means forbidden. Okay, we have rules I need to follow. I cannot defy the rules. Number 9. Of speech were marked by quotation marks. Okay, we're saying that transcription, it means when you transfer speech to written copy. So figures? No. Written copies? Yes! I have already said it. That's the answer. Back to the text. Okay, exclamation points came from io, the Latin word for joy. This word was often shown as capital I set over a lowercase o. Number 10. The pages of today's books may be nondescript in appearance compared with the beautiful manuscripts of the Middle Ages, but at least we know where words and sentences begin and end. Still, we may not be finished inventing punctuation. The interrobang proposed in the 1960s combines an exclamation point and a question mark. Do you remember it? We know it. And it's used to end a simultaneous question and exclamation. Other new punctuation marks are constantly being suggested, such as the mark, like the upside down exclamation mark, to indicate the statement was meant to be sarcastic. Do you remember the verbal irony? This would be helpful when corresponding via email or instant messaging. Alright, let's move to a question. Nondescript. Number 10. The pages of today's books may, in appearance, compared with the beautiful manuscripts of the Middle Ages, not be distinctive. Nondescript means not be distinctive. Yes, that's the answer. Without features, without prominent features. Okay, so the answer is A. It means that they're not labeled, they're not written beautifully. Okay, I cannot tell each individual from the other. Let's get back. Come on, the ones who didn't participate, it's your time. Prepare yourself. So far so good. Let's get back. Now, that's an MCQ question, multiple choices. I need you to narrow down your choices again. Harvey, the record of the school board meeting. Okay, ascribed means attribute to. Proscribed, it means he prohibited. Transcribed, it means he wrote. Or inscribed, it means he prayed. Which one is the answer? Okay, he prepared the record of the meeting, so he was the, yes, transcript. Let's move to the next. Number 2. A notice on the lifeguard's tent diving at the shallow end of the pool. Okay, live notice. Notice here means it's written. Okay, it means that do not on the shallow end of the pool. Is prescribed, it means that recommend, like doctors. No. Proscribed, forbid. Yes, that's the answer. The coach ice pack for Lynn's swollen ankle. Prescribed, it means that he recommended. Yes, that's the answer. She has a medical condition that needs help. Number 4. The committee that was responsible for the lecture, the poor attendance to the lack of advertising. Okay, now They prescribed, it means that they recommend. No. They ascribed, it means they attribute, or they say that is the cause, that is the reason for lack of attendance. Yes. If you don't know about the lecture, how will you attend it? Poor marketing. Sculptor, her name at the base of the monument. Okay. Alright, so the artist here, where does he or she sign? He said that's a monument, it means that's made of rocks or stone. Okay, so prescribed, recommend, no. Inscribed, yes, because any monument is made of hard things, okay, wood, stones, rocks, and so on. The highway, the entire metropolitan area. Okay, now the highly sophisticated area. So the highway, the entire what? Subscribed, no, the lower right written letter. Scribe, writer. Scripture, sacred writing. Proscription, okay, the imposed proscription on that area of using the highway. In mathematics, following a number usually indicates the numeric case. Okay, it's very easy. Subscript. The minister reads a few lines of every night before going to bed. What do we usually read before we sleep? Prescription, subscript, or scripture? We read sacred writings, we read our Quran. The decorated the manuscript with drawings of birds and flowers. Okay, who writes the manuscripts? Writers, so the scribe. The final word, final question for this. The stray cat. Stray means that's a street cat. Was of average size, it means that's regular. And color. So color here refers to, does she have a distinctive color? It's an average ordinary cat, so nondescript. Okay, the following question is the last one you're going to be prized for. Okay, the doctor, my shortness of breath to an allergic reaction to pollen, and gave me a or an for inhaler. So the doctor ascribed my shortness of breath to an allergic reaction of pollens and gave me a prescription. Yes, that's the answer. Yeah, lucky me. I have figured out the answer. Okay, thank you again. I need you to go back and study the words and study the spelling of these words and prepare yourself for very extensive activity you're going to do on our whiteboard in class, inshallah. Have a nice day and goodbye.